to Amusement Park Road Trip. And now your hosts, Matt and Brandon.
Thanks for joining us on a road trip today. My name is Matt, and I am with Brandon, who used to slick his hair back and was a real piece of shit.
Still a piece of shit. I just don't have hair to slick back.
As promised, today's going to be a quick episode because it's during our break and we don't want to take too much time. And unfortunately, both of us are sick. Both of our families got very sick over the break. So we're just keeping it nice and short. But before we get to that, we got some things to address, Brandon.
Okay.
Are you ready to just feel like the biggest idiot? Not just you. I mean, me too. I feel like the biggest idiot, but
outside of my normal feelings of idiocracy on the daily.
I guess that's true. You and I are both very used to this. This is why we can relate so much to Tim Robinson, because it's very awkward, cringy, and just embarrassment. And I think that's both of us.
I mean, you a little more than me, but who's counting?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
For boosting my confidence. Okay, so I had a listener reach out to me, which was great. Thank you, Becky.
Yeah, you asked for it.
I asked for her to reach out. Oh, yeah. I asked for people to reach out. That's true. She did not hear that plea before she reached out. She reached out on her own. But it wasn't a good thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
We're getting canceled.
Yeah. So, you know how we often refer to music at a carousel, and we know it's not always this type of music, but we always say
the Calliope music.
Calliope music. We always say that, and it's not always Calliope music. That's what we say. And Becky reached out to me and she goes, Matt, it's Calliope.
Oh, man.
We've said Calliope so many times. Look how it's spelled. Listener, if you don't know how it's spelled, look at that word and tell me that we're idiots for not assuming it was Calliope. So
I'm not going to remember that. Calliope.
I think of kaleidoscope. That's how I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is Calliope. So I thought, before I make myself even a bigger idiot, I'll accept this criticism because she's right. It's Calliope.
Somebody screaming?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, is that at my house?
No,
there's
that's
nobody home. That's scary.
My kids are screaming. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
But I figure if it's Calliope, what else are we getting wrong? So I did some research and we didn't necessarily get this wrong. We just never mention it. I think we stuck with Calliope music because it's more fun to think about. It's a weird instrument. It used to be steam powered. Now it's mostly like pressured air. But for the majority of carousels, the music is actually Wurlitzer band organs.
Oh, man.
And we just never mention that. So I know not all of them. The majority of carousels we talk about, it's not Calliope music. It's Wurlitzer band organs. If
I search for Wurlitzer, the second suggestion is Wurlitzer Calliope. So.
Oh, so look at that. Wurlitzer is just a brand.
Is it a brand?
I don't know. Well, look at us.
Well, just
apparently
just
I didn't do
count
good
on
enough
us
research.
Looking like idiots more and more as we go.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good time to end the podcast. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Just don't quote us on this stuff.
Yeah, don't take any fact that we have as fact because we obviously don't know.
So Calliope, Wurlitzer, band organs, and there's numbers. So I started looking into it and it's like the Wurlitzer band organ 126 or 153. And I'm sure people know the difference and all of that. We're not going to go into that, but
anyway. I think the best way to do it is just if we call it merry-go-round music because there's no disputing that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Or unless you want to call it carousel music. Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I do, but I didn't want to correct you because that's something I do too often. And it's not even when you're wrong. I just correct you all the time,
Yeah.
So
it's the best.
I didn't want to correct you, but yeah, carousel music. Thanks for correcting yourself. All right, should we jump into the episode? We've covered that. Thank you, Becky, again, for letting me know and keeping me up at night as I think about that when I'm about to right before I fall asleep and I hear the word Calliope in my head. Okay, so as promised today, we're going to talk about our 5 favorite Disneyland facts. And specifically, just to give context, these are the things that we share with family and friends when we go to the park. I share with my family, They're our favorite things. It's nothing mind blowing. It might be something you've heard before, but it's just what we like to share with people. Maybe you haven't heard it. If you haven't heard of these, let us know. If you have 5 favorite facts or a favorite fact to share, let us know. We'd love to hear it on social media. Our podcast is on YouTube because Google Podcasts is going to YouTube Music. And so maybe that happened with the new year. So our podcast is on YouTube. You can comment there, comment on Instagram or Facebook, or email us at amusementparkroadtrip@gmail.com. And we can read your emails of your favorite facts if you want to share them. So I did not prepare you, Brandon. Before we share our 5 favorite facts, I want to ask you, what is your favorite treat or treats? You can keep a few at Disneyland.
My favorite treat? Oh, man, this is a tough one because I had a long hiatus of visiting Disneyland. I went in 2015 and then didn't go again until 2022. So good.
Yeah, it's a long break.
Good break. I had built up in my mind, and how would you call it? How do you call it when you're like super excited for something, doesn't live up to expectations? I had very high hopes.
Yes.
Very high hopes, high expectations for the treat to Disneyland, because in that time between 2015 and 2022, we saw a real big boom of vloggers and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So nonstop people going to Disneyland, eating all the treats, talking about the different churro flavors, everything that was unique about the food at Disneyland. So if you would have asked me, this is a really long explanation. If you would have asked me in 2015 up to 2022 what my favorite treat was, it would have been churros, because I had in my mind how wonderful churros were and all these different flavors they were pumping out.
Yeah.
I went to Disneyland in 2022 and I fell out of love with churros because they ain't that good. I'm going to be honest.
I totally agree. We are on the same page. I'm sorry, people. Disneyland churros are not good. They're just good because you're at Disneyland.
Yeah. That's still a peak moment, standing in a line, eating a Disneyland churro. I'm not going to take away from that. But is it the best treat in Disneyland? Not even close. The best treat now that I am holding high in high regard, high expectations for the next time I go back is the blue milk, my friend.
Yeah, that's my daughter's favorite as well.
Anything you can eat in, let's get this right, Galaxy Far, Far Away. That's what it's called, right? The land?
Yes, Galaxy Far, Far Away.
In Galaxy Far, Far Away. Everything there is great food and drink. So
that's true.
There's my piece.
That is my daughter's favorite, blue milk. We spent probably close to $100. I don't know, maybe not 100. We bought a lot of money on blue milk while we were at Disneyland a month ago. How much did you spend?
You really want to know?
Well, how many did you get?
I'm going to tell you.
Look at you keeping track of your expenses.
I spent $34.44. You thought it was going to be really like a huge number, but just $34.44.
So that's 3 of them?
I think that's only 4.
4?
Yeah. It's not cheap.
No, but it's worth it. Well, my favorite treat, I'm giving you 2.
Hold on. Sorry. Do you want to know how much I spent on churros?
How much is one churro?
No, how much I spent on churros?
I know. I was asking how much is one churro? Did you get more than one? I guess you got one and maybe your wife got one. And your daughter?
I think a churro is the low end $6.75.
Okay.
I spent $83.85 on churros at my last trip to Disneyland. Yep.
Why?
Because I idolized them.
Okay.
I thought they were going to be amazing. And there are some in there that were very good. I think the Cozy Cone churros are always a bop, but are they worth $83.85? Probably not. Will I spend that much or more the next time I go? I probably will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you. I think we only had a few when we went a month ago. I really don't care for them. So I'll tell you my favorite treat.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I have 2, but I'll start with green milk is actually my favorite. I love green milk. So we would go, the reason it was so expensive is because we'd go to Galaxy's Edge and buy 1 blue milk and 1 green milk. And I just prefer the green milk, but blue milk is just as good. I love it. I love both of them, but green milk is one of my favorites. But my favorite treat by far, nothing even comes close to this. Actually, something does come close to it, but in Pooh's Corner, a Tigger tail.
Those are good.
Orange chocolate wrapped around marshmallows and caramel. And here's a little fun fact for you. You ready for this?
Mhm.
While we were there, during the Christmas season, they make Christmas ones that are the exact same price, but it's just milk chocolate wrapped around marshmallows. And then there's a Tigger tail, same price. The Tigger tail has 4 marshmallows and the Christmas ones only have 3.
Whoa.
So, but that orange chocolate, it is just so good.
Those money grubbing bastards.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on from the favorite treats. I've got 5 facts. You've got 5 facts.
No. Hold on. I have one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
We need to talk about Mickey Mouse, man. That's big news.
I thought this morning, I wonder who's going to be first at making a Mickey Mouse horror movie, because you know it's coming.
Let's do it.
No.
Can it be a Mickey Mouse horror movie, or does it have to be a Steamboat Willie-esque Mickey Mouse movie?
I don't know.
It's got to be very, very specific because of this copyright thing. But yes, Mickey Mouse has entered the public domain in his first iteration.
So now when you go to Hollywood Boulevard, you will see a Mickey Mouse because it's public domain. But before then, you would not have seen one, right?
I don't understand.
Okay. In Hollywood, how they have all the characters dressed up on the roads.
Okay.
And there was always like the most sketchy Mickey and Minnie Mouses.
I mean, yeah, that's kosher now. They can do that.
Disney won't arrest them.
Disney won't arrest them.
Yeah, that is big news.
Disney can't really arrest anybody.
We'll see how.
They don't have jurisdiction. Oh, but maybe that's one of my facts.
In Anaheim, they do.
Maybe that's one of my 5 facts.
All right. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start? Before we start, I will say 2 things, maybe more than 2. First, we are only sticking to Disneyland. We're not going to DCA. And second, maybe for you, not for me. Mine are not in any particular order. They're just my 5 favorite things.
Yeah. Okay. Same.
Okay, good. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. My first favorite thing, every time I go with family, I take them here multiple times. And I talked to a cast member last time I went and asked, how often do people come here? And he says at least once a day, but not very many. This is in Tomorrowland by the old Innovation Center. It's now a DVC lounge. And at the exit, I guess, or the entrance, it's the entrance now. It used to be the exit for Innovations. Anyway, where there's like the ramp, there is a circle on the ground. And when you stand in that circle and talk, you can hear your echo and it blows your mind. There's actually 2 circles where you could stand on in that area and you talk and you hear your echo. It's crazy. It's called the Echo Spots. So last time we went, there was a cast member there because they were welcoming all the DVC people. And I asked, how often do people come to this? And he said, yeah, we usually get at least one a day, but not a ton of people know about it. People just walk right over it. So that is one of my favorite. What was that?
News to me.
Oh man, that's one of my favorites. I love it. I love taking people there and showing them. And then there were people sitting around the second time I went and I was like to them, I was like, guys, I'm not crazy. I'm going to look really weird for a minute, but if you stand on the circle and talk, you can hear your echo. And so after they tried it and they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. So now those people know, but that is a really fun one. I love doing it. I love taking people there. It is so weird because nobody around you can hear your echo. So that is my first fun fact. All right, Brandon, go ahead. Tell me your first fact.
So there's a wall behind Main Street. Was this on your list of fun facts?
Kind of. Oh, yeah, we might have. We did
wall.
not share our list with each other, so we might have overlapping, but go ahead because I will talk about this as well. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just messing with you because I knew it was going to be on your list. It's not really one of my lists.
Oh, okay.
Okay. My first one, and I'm sorry, you're a little bit more versed on the fun facts than I am. Mine are more common knowledge, so my apologies for that. Not as exciting. But my first one is the feral cats. Most people know that there are feral cats at Disneyland, and that's to deal with the giant mouse problem they have there.
Oh, hilarious.
But really, they do have a bunch of feral cats running around Disneyland. And I like this because, well, I don't like cats. So it's kind of weird that I like it so much. But I guess it just adds, I don't know, makes Disney human. Like they're not immune to issues and problems. Just doesn't make me feel good when I'm eating the food. But, there's mice there. There's problems. And it just makes a human, and they deal with it in the best way they can by employing all these random cats that run through the park. And I always like it because I like to look for the cats to see if I can find them, because they're not always in obvious spots, but there's always times you can find them wandering around. Saw a picture of one on Thunder Mountain actually, which was kind of cool. But yeah, fun for me to look for when I'm there at Disneyland.
That is a fun one. I saw one in 2019. I did not see one this year, but that is a fun one. All right, we're moving along. Number 2. This one, I honestly don't know. I think this is a very basic one. I don't know how many people know this or not, because every time I point it out to people, they're like, oh, I've never noticed that before. But I feel like it's something everybody knows. And again, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just one of my favorite things. When you are on Pirates of the Caribbean and you take off and you're in the bayou, if you look up on the ceiling, you will see shooting stars. And I love it. And I'm always surprised when people are like, oh, I've never noticed that before. So maybe that's one everybody knows, and that's fine. But that's one of my favorite things to point out to people when I'm riding with them, is to watch for the shooting stars across the ceiling. And that is
cool.
it.
That's pretty cool. I hadn't noticed that before. My next one is the bullet hole. Now, you know where the bullet hole is, right?
I do know where the bullet hole is.
There is a bullet hole on Haunted Mansion. When you're riding through and you're passing the ballroom scene, there is a screen, a glass, and you can see a bullet hole they've made to look like a spider, kind of.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's there, and they haven't fixed it, and that's cool. Do we know the details of why it's there? I think it was like a sheriff, a deputy, some kind of officer had a gun that went off mistakenly. So not much more exciting. It wasn't the dueling ghost that actually had a live bullet shootout. That'd be a pretty cool backstory. That's what they should say.
From what I've heard, this is probably not the truth. The story I've always heard is that a person wanted to figure out the illusion. They didn't know how they could see these ghosts down there. And so they shot to see what it would hit. And they were quickly surprised of how close the illusion is in front of their eyes. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. That's the story I've heard.
Yeah, I heard the off-duty officer one.
But what I have heard is the reason they didn't replace it is because they'd have to remove the whole ceiling. Well, not ceiling. Well, yeah, the ceiling of the building, the show building. And man, it was cheaper to just put a spider over it and it's webbed out.
You think?
So, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a fun one to point out. My third one is what you were talking about earlier, Center Street. So on Main Street, there's an intersecting street that is called Center Street. And if you're heading towards the castle and you turn right, there's a few things I really like here. It's where the lockers are. There's a water fountain, and around that water fountain is something called the test wall. It is brick. And if you look at that brick closely, red brick, the left side, I believe, is flat, like perfectly lined brick. And the right side is wavy and crazy. And that is known as the test wall. The story is that they were testing different brick patterns when they were building Disneyland at a rapid pace. But that's not the only thing. I love to just hang out in that spot. And we did this last time we went. We just hung out there while the ladies went shopping, because everybody knows about the windows on Center Street by the test wall. I think there's 3. No, there's 2 that I can remember. There's one window that says like piano lessons, and one is a dentist. And if you listen closely, you will hear somebody go upstairs and take their piano lessons. And then the piano lesson's done. And then you'll hear somebody in the dentist office getting some dental work done, and it doesn't sound pleasant. So it's a very small detail. I pointed out last time we were there, and I think my brother thought it was cool. I don't know.
He probably didn't.
Like, wow, noises coming from a room. That's awesome. But yeah, that's a fun place to go hang out. Very quiet back there. The lockers are back there. You've got to get a drink from the drinking fountain that's surrounded by the test wall.
There's a video game called something. It's a Disneyland video game, right? And even that game has the detail of the test wall.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I think I have that video game. I'll have to go. Oh, wait, no, I don't. Wait, do I have that game?
Yes, you do.
Okay, yeah.
Anyways, and it's an Xbox video game, and you go back there and you can see the test wall. So they even paid attention to detail in that game to add that in.
Well, I wonder if you hear the drilling of the teeth in the piano lessons if you hang out back there.
You're going to have to give it a shot.
Yeah, I know what I'm going to do after this.
All right, time for my next fact.
Go for it.
Let's stay on Main Street. Why don't we? Main Street, USA. Most underrated part of the park, in my opinion. If you look up above, you will notice some American flags. Hey, wait a minute. How do they have all those American flags up there on the buildings without taking them down every night? Well,
how do they do it?
They are not real American flags. They are fake. They're missing stars and stripes so that they don't have to actually follow that. But it looks like they're up there. So there you go.
That is a fun one. Yeah, your brain just, you see it. You see stars and stripes. You're like, that there's an American flag. Don't think anything else.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good one. That's a fun one. And I agree. Main Street, underrated. Well,
underrated.
I don't know. I guess people, I mean, everybody has to walk through it, but people don't stay there to hang out.
No.
There's more to it than just shopping as well.
Agreed. Sorry, this is not one of my facts, but it is just kind of cool since we're on Main Street on the topic that they have a special secret area in Main Street, the mother's area, the feeding area, if you will, the watering hole.
The watering hole for the baby.
Watering hole for the babies. And I do have exclusive footage of the inside of it if anybody cares to see it. It's a whole of not much, but my wife went to Disneyland. When we went, we had a young baby, and so that's how she got to see the inside of it.
And she did send me videos.
Yes, and it's at that it's like at the top of Main Street, kind of.
Since you threw in another Main Street, can I throw in one?
Yeah, all right.
I left this off my list. Next to City Hall, towards the gates, is a building that doesn't have isn't marked for anything, but that used to be the police station.
Oh,
that's a fun one that I love. I learned about that in one of my favorite Disneyland books by Bob. I believe his last name is pronounced Darcy, but it's D''ARCY. So I don't know if it's DRC or Darcy, but Bob Darcy, one of my favorite books. It's called A Walk Around the Park or A Walk in the Park.
My favorite book, but I don't know the name of it.
Walk in the Park. And he talks about that. It was a police station. All right. My number 4 is actually disappointing because it's not a thing anymore, as far as I can tell. This one, I went to point it out last time we went, and it didn't happen. And then I watched videos of this ride that was recently refurbished, and it didn't happen. And I looked at the comments, and sure enough, people pointed it out. On Indiana Jones, at the grand finale, you pull up to Indy hanging there. You used to, and it'd say, "Oh, back up." And you would back up and the ball would roll towards you and you would go down under the boulder. And I used to always point out, I loved it. You are not backing up. The walls are moving forward, which blew my mind. And people, they're like, it feels like you're backing up. And the best dad joke you could ever do at that moment, if you're driving, is to put your hand around the person next to you and look back like you're about to back up. I think that's hilarious to do that, but you can't do it anymore. I don't think the walls move anymore. And I'm curious, you know how on Rise of the Resistance, they had the giant guns that move forward and back. And they found that was actually causing a lot of the issues of why it was constantly down. I'm curious if they found that wall was causing a lot of issues. And so they stopped moving it back and forth. So there's no sequence now where you back up. You just stop. Indy's there. You see the ball, then you go down.
You see the ball.
You used to have the sensation of backing up when you really didn't, because those cars don't have the ability to back up. And it also doesn't make sense logically that you would back up and then go down a hill. Was it a trap door? Your brain just didn't think about it, but there's no trap door. You didn't back up. You didn't move. The walls moved forward. And that one is no longer there for me to tell people. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I won't end on a bummer note like that, but go ahead and share yours.
My next one. So this is number 4, right?
Number 4.
So this is another one. We'll go off the same topic that's not there anymore because Splash Mountain is closed. It is no more. It is being refurbished and turned into Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
I think so.
Something like that.
Yep.
Also, I'm still excited for. I mean, I love Splash Mountain, but I'm sure that Tiana's will be great as well. But back in the old days, so it used to do this, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of a one-time thing. But when you'd go on Splash Mountain, there was 5 times the Brer Fox animatronic told me it was going to marry my dad.
Oh, yeah. Keep going. I'm interested.
Say, now's our chance to set a trap for Barabbas. Then it turned and looked me right in the eye and said, I'm going to marry your dad, Brandon. Then the fox leaned in real close to my face, which I'm pretty sure it was not programmed to do. And he said, call me Mrs. Dad, Brandon. I'm going to be your dad's bride at his wedding. Before he could say anything else, I had floated away from him to enjoy the rest of the magic of Splash Mountain.
Uh-huh.
He did this 4 more times.
That's amazing.
He even said he's going to wear my clothes. He's going to marry my religious dad, and the wedding is going to take forever. Everyone was going to talk so slow. My dad was going to kiss. He was going to kiss my dad 100 times. It was just crazy. I wonder if anyone else had this experience happen to them.
The only way you can know if somebody else had that experience is to search that exact thing.
Yes.
Bear Fox, I'm going to marry your dad.
All-time clickhole article. But I'm sorry, that's not my real fact. My real fact is, again, everybody knows this. It's overused, but I still love it. The basketball hoop on the Matterhorn.
Oh, yeah.
There's a basketball hoop, and it's no special basketball hoop. There's no special court. The famous NBA players don't go up and play in this court. It's really just, you could go to Walmart and buy one of those basketball hoops and put it up there. That's basically what they did here. But I just love that in some world, somebody can, well, in this world, actually, some way someone's able to go up there and shoot a shot in Disneyland on a ride. So if that would be my probably one of 2 experiences I would love to have at Disneyland that I probably would never get to have, playing basketball on Matterhorn.
My favorite rumor about that one, this is the best rumor, is that the reason they put that basketball hoop up there is because when at the time they built the Matterhorn, you had to have a permit to build so high. And so they built it as a sports arena because it had a basketball hoop in it so that they could build it as high as they needed to. It's such a dumb story, but I love that rumor.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but everyone knows about it already. It's not some kind of secret thing, but still fun.
Yeah,
fun
that's a fun one.
Disneyland.
Here's my last one. I'm curious if you know this one. I don't think a lot of people know about this, but I could be wrong. In New Orleans Square, and you have to be in certain spots to see it. You have to know about it, and then you have to look up. But on top of the buildings in New Orleans Square, there are ship masts to give the illusion that there are ships right on the other side of those buildings.
Oh.
So when you're getting on Pirates of the Caribbean, if you step back, you'll look up at the buildings, and it's hard to find. You have to know where you're looking, but there are ship masts. And I pointed it out to my family. Again, way excited. We get there. I'm like, guys, check it out. Stand right here. Look up there. And they're like, okay, cool. I was way excited to show them, but their reaction was like, yep, there's ship masts on top of the buildings. So that's a fun one. I really like looking at that. Some good theming. Even most people, probably 95 or more % of people don't even see it. But next time you're in New Orleans Square, look up. You might also see a Louisiana state flag in there. And yeah, that's a fun one. And that's my last one that I like sharing with people when I go on trips with them.
Nice.
This better be a good one, Brandon. You're wrapping it up.
Oh, good gravy. I better come up with a better one. Now, this one's cool. I found this one out. This isn't one that I really knew prior to the research. I did Google, shamefully, I Googled Disneyland facts to make sure I got some good ones. But this one I thought was really neat. Halley's Comet.
Oh, yeah.
Main Street. Oh, so you already know this one? Okay, cool. You're so cool.
Sorry.
Main Street is set in 1910 and Tomorrowland is set in 1986, which both of these years coincide with when people could see Halley's Comet from Earth.
That is a cool one.
I'm going to give a honorable mention, though, because that one obviously sucked in your eyes.
No, that was a great one. A lot of people don't know that.
I think it's another Haunted Mansion fact. I know I already included one, but it's just another cool one.
Yeah, go for it.
It's if you look, did they still do it, or was it decided that it's not a thing anymore?
I think I know what you're talking about. They don't do it anymore.
It was so cool. They should do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look up at the mansion, you would see, I don't know. You probably know better. Can you explain it better than I can? You could see like a light.
Yeah, there'd be a light that would go through a window. So it's more known about at Disney World, and I don't know if they still do it or not, but Walt Disney World in the Haunted Mansion, there's a light that goes through, like when you're looking at the building, there's a light that'll travel through one room. And they have that at Disneyland as well. And you can actually find video of it at Disneyland, but I don't think it's worked for a very, very long time. But one of the rooms, one of the lights up in the attic from the outside, occasionally you would see a light pass by a window. And the way that they did it is they just had a light on all the time, and they had this can that would slowly turn around it like a record player, and there would be a slit in this can. So every now and then, or not every now and then, it'd be timed. When the can would turn towards the window, the light would shine through the slit. And as it turned, it looked like the light was moving. So that is a very cool one. A lot of people don't know about that.
No, they don't. But I do. And you do too.
Yep. I learned about that one in Boundless Realm by Fox Nolte or Nolte. Nolte. But that's a good book. That's a cool book. If you like Haunted Mansion and you want a really deep dive, specifically of Florida's Haunted Mansion, Boundless Realm is a great book. Well, I think that's it. We did it. Do you have any last words?
No, I don't.
Neither do I. I'm glad we were able to share our favorite Disneyland facts. Next week, we'll be going to a huge theme park. I don't want to say what it is.
Disneyland.
No, but I'll say it's themed to countries. So that's and it's not what you think it is. That's your hint.
It's not what you think it is, but it's countries. What does that mean?
Yeah. Well, you would probably think Epcot.
Oh. Yeah. I guess you would.
We're going.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
Next week, we'll be back into the groove of things. We're looking forward to 2024. Hope you had a good start to your year. I guess the year's already gone. We're just recording this now, though, when it's still fresh. But like I said at the beginning, if you have any fun facts you want to share with us, reach out on social media. Email us at amusementparkroadtrip@gmail.com. And if you have any more corrections, like Calliope, or are we saying Wurlitzer?
Any of our facts we shared? Because we probably got them wrong.
Yeah, or any of our facts. If any of our facts are wrong, go ahead and email us. And then I will explain why you're wrong, Bob. I don't know. I'm just assuming it's Bob that's going to reach out.
Okay.
But that's it for this week. We're running out of gas. Our car's breaking down. So we got to pull over and fix this up so we can make it across the country for next week.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good week.
Big gulps, huh?
Well, see you later.
Bye.